Today we're going to answer some of the most Googled questions about Northport, Florida,
as well as some of your questions.
and we're getting started right now.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the area, make sure to call, text, or email me. I am a local realtor here. My information will be in the description box below.
We hear from people every day and we love it. So first question, I'll let you answer this because you're the realtor. I'm interested in best neighborhoods for families and safety, also spec homes and prices. Thank you, smiley face. We appreciate the smiley face and the thank you.
Yes. Best neighborhoods for families, I would say definitely Welland Park. Home prices there are going to start in the low 400s, but just be careful when you see those prices, just because if it's a new construction home, it's probably not going to cost you $400,000. It's going to cost you a little more than that. We'll actually have a video talking about Welland Park and talk a little more about prices, so we'll link that in the description below once it is live.
It might be by the time this comes out. It's always kind of a random order depending on when production on everything gets done.
Yes, and then there is also that other side of Northport that's getting developed. There is lots of new construction going on scattered lots and spec homes, which is the question we got.
I would say for that, there's not really neighborhoods that are good or bad for families as much.
Yeah.
It's a little more kind of the same throughout.
Just because Northport is more of a rural community, so you'll have spec homes built on scattered lots. Pricing will depend really on the builder, but we have seen new construction in the upper 300, 400,000. It really just depends on the builder and the location as well. If you're closer to like Welland Park or farther away from Welland Park or closer to the center of Northport, it will just depend on, there's like a lot of different factors, but I would say higher 300,000s, maybe mid 400,000s will get you a new construction spec home or a new construction that's already built, move-in ready.
And that's like, we're talking like a 2-bath, 3-bedroom place,
Yes.
about 1,500 square feet for that 300s and up.
Yes.
But yeah, and spec homes can be very different depending on the builder too. The base level as far as the
Yes.
finishings and things like that could be very nice versus not. Again, that's going to affect your price.
Next one is by Get Handles Basketball.
Guy sounds like a loser.
And he's wondering when we're going to the Crepe Chef.
Yeah, when are we
again.
going to the Crepe Chef again? That's my channel. I didn't just call some random guy on the internet a loser.
Yes.
That's me. I just was being goofy. Crepe Chef's an amazing restaurant. Technically in Port Charlotte, it's right on the edge of Northport. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. It's like this little, like, almost like a hole in the wall type place, I guess
Yeah.
you could call it or whatever, but such good food. Okay.
Delicious, yes.
Next one, what are some of the best builders in Northport?
Again, this one depends on what you're looking for. Some builders will have their base model homes are like really nice, like almost what you would consider mid
Or upgraded.
Upgraded, yes. Some that come to mind are Adams Homes, which right now they're only building spec homes because of the pandemic and materials were very difficult to get for a while here in Florida. So they started to just build spec homes, but their homes are really nice.
Yeah, I like
Before going into more builders, it really depends where in Northport you're building as well. Welland Park, it's technically Northport, but they have their own builders. I know Toll Brothers is there, D.R. Horton, Miranda.
Toll Brothers makes some really nice homes.
Yes, very, very nice. Yes, very nice finishes. Madame Homes is also in Welland Park. So most of the bigger companies or known companies, construction companies, will be in the Welland Park area, while Northport has the smaller local businesses.
There's also a few like really small, like custom build type companies in the area. They're usually building like 1 or 2, maybe 3 homes a year, but some of those make some amazing homes.
Really nice, yeah.
I think it just depends on what you're looking for. Like the word best to some people's like means just, can I get it affordably? So some people's, I want top of the line.
Yeah.
So as always, if you are looking to move to the area and you want someone to like make sure that the building process is done right, make sure, there's a lot of people don't think you need a realtor to work with a builder, but she can help you out with a lot of things. There are a lot of things along the way.
And the small print on the contract
Yes.
as well, that sometimes builders will not go into detail because they don't want to scare you out. And, at the end of the day, they want to build homes and they want to sell homes, right? So, but another one that comes to mind that it's really nice is Hampshire Homes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's more in Englewood, or they're located in Englewood, but they'll build in Northport. And the other one that comes to mind is LGI Homes. LGI Homes, I wouldn't say they're nice, like their basic model is really basic, but with any builder, you can upgrade and make it better. So it just, again, really depends what you're looking for in a home. And if you're looking in a planned community, you really don't have many, well, you do have many options, but it would be whatever that developer is using for builders.
Next question is a Google question. Is Northport in Sarasota? Kind of.
Yeah,
It's in Sarasota County,
County.
but it's not in Sarasota City. It's separate. It's definitely separate. You have to take 75 to get between the two cities.
Yes, and it is about a 35 to 40 minute drive from Sarasota City to Northport City.
And that brings us to the next question. Is Northport a city?
Yes.
It is, but it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it feels more like the country, like a rural.
Except for 41.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of businesses on 41, but I say the rest of it.
It doesn't feel like a city.
Yeah.
The next one is what to do in Northport.
There's not a ton, I would say, to do in Northport, but there is some things. There's a couple different water parks. They have like a little splash pad and the warm mineral springs. Those are like the things that come to mind as far as the main. And then you got your shopping, your big box stores on Tamiami. There's quite a bit of shopping options.
And the theater, movie theater in Port Charlotte, which it's, depending on what end of Northport you're in, could be a 10 to 20, 30-minute drive.
And I think that's another good thing to point out with Northport as far as what to do in Northport. A lot of people buy in Northport because it's a little bit more of an affordable city, that you can get a nicer house for the money and a little bit bigger yard maybe, but then it also positions you very close to a bunch of cities like Venice where there's stuff to do, Inglewood where there's stuff to do, Sarasota, Fort Myers, Port Charlotte. So you're kind of in the middle of all those different areas, and Punta Gorda for that matter. So that's all your stuff to do is kind of in the surrounding cities if you don't feel like there's enough in Northport. Next question, does Northport have a downtown?
It doesn't have a downtown, but again, you're not too far from Venice, Englewood, which do have a downtown, and the Welland Park area, new community, is going to have a downtown as well.
An amazing downtown.
Yes.
And there's almost like an area in Northport that feels like it's halfway to being
Kind
a
of.
downtown by the city hall and stuff, where they have the farmers market and there's a couple different, like there's
Art
like a McDonald's
fairs.
there and a couple
Yeah.
other restaurants and things like that, but it's not very walkable like you would expect a downtown to be.
Next question is, does Northport have a beach? No, but you're not too far from Venice and Englewood, and those two cities have a lot of different beaches that you can go to. So within 30 minutes, I would say you can get to any beach. So yeah, Northport does not have a beach because they are a little more inland.
I think some people might get a little confused about this too, because I have seen before we moved to the area, some people post videos on YouTube saying like the dog beach in Northport, and I think it's because people come on vacation and then they're not really aware that they left Northport City and went to a beach. Yeah, but it's too far inland to have an actual beach. The closest thing you would have would be like the Myakka River, and you don't want to go swimming in there.
No.
There's alligators, lots of them. So next question, this is kind of a vague one. How is Northport, Florida? Well, Northport, I would say, is a little more quiet, somewhat rural, but at the same time, busy-ish on Tamiami Trail. It's a bit of a busier road with lots of shopping. That kind of gives you, I think, a nutshell of what to expect from Northport. I mean, it's kind of woodsy in a lot of areas, but as those lots get more developed and filled and built on, it's becoming a little bit of more of like a sort of like a rural suburban feel, I guess you could say.
Yes, and you still have enough space between houses. It's not like Northport's being developed on top of each other. This area that's getting developed in Northport where all the vacant lots. The lots are typically a quarter to a half an acre, so you still have enough space in between homes, so you won't feel like you're on top of each other by any means.
And I would also say it's compared to like some of the other cities nearby, Steers a little bit younger. There are still quite a bit of retirees, like Venice and Inglewood and Sarasota have lots of retirees. Northport does as well, but I'd say it's a little bit heavier on the family side of things and younger.
The next question is, how far is Northport?
How far? I don't know.
That depends on the area, but for example, you're about 30 minutes to 40 minutes from Sarasota, about 35-ish to an hour maybe to Fort Myers.
Yeah, I think it depends on what end
End
to what
of
end.
Northport, yeah, about 2.5, maybe 3 hours to Orlando.
Hour-ish to Tampa.
Yeah,
Maybe,
about
maybe a little more.
Tampa, St. Pete area, yeah.
20 to 25 for Venice.
Punta Gorda about 20 to 25 as well. So it's a really good location if you think about it, even just for taking a day trip or going to Orlando if you have kids, staying the night and coming back home. It's, you know, it's not that far, 2.5 to 3 hour drive.
And even next door, Port Charlotte. I mean,
Yes.
Northport got its name from Port Charlotte because it was north of Port Charlotte, but they have a mall there and things like that. So it's a little bit more shopping. That's, I mean, depending, it could be like a 2-minute drive if you're on the right end of Northport. It could be maybe a 10 to 15-minute drive to get there.
Yes.
And then Inglewood is also nearby. That's probably about the same as Venice, maybe a little bit more, but 5 minutes more than it takes to get to Venice. Next thing that is very Googled is jobs in Northport. Northport has been called, from some people, a bedroom community, and the reason it gets that reputation is because, you, as we mentioned before, you can get a house for a pretty good price. So a lot of people will live there and then commute to work somewhere else. Bedroom community, they just go there to sleep is where that term came from. That being said, there are, like, you know, more service-based industry jobs. You're talking like restaurants, stores, and then outside of that, yeah, you're gonna be looking at traveling to maybe Venice to the Amazon Center or something maybe at a medical facility. There's lots of medical facilities also in Northport. Fort Myers has a lot of jobs, Sarasota. So yeah, you're probably gonna have to travel a little bit, but there's some stuff in Northport.
Next one is, what's the temperature in Northport, Florida?
Well, today, I don't know. Well, actually, we were just there. We
The
filmed some
80s.
videos. It was like 84 was the high.
Yeah.
And it's
September, mid-September.
20th. In the summers, at the peak of the heat, you're looking at 90s just about every day, maybe a little more than that. Pretty high humidity. Expect a rainstorm, so we're going a little beyond just temperature, but a rainstorm just about every day. Sometimes it'll last longer, sometimes it'll be 5-10 minutes and just dump on you and it'll be gone. And then in the winters, highs on a low day, 65 would be a pretty cold day. And then the low at night, you might occasionally hit like high 30s. But generally, you're looking at a low of somewhere in the mid to upper 50s at night during the winter. And then in the summer, the lows are going to be 70s, high 70s, the mid 70s.
Yeah.
If you want to get a better sense for what it's like to live in Northport, we actually have a full playlist with a lot about the different pockets of Northport and different areas, pros and cons, you name it. Check it out right here.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home in the area, make sure to call, text, or email me. I am a local realtor here. My information will be in the description box below.
We hear from people every day and we love it. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn on all notifications, leave a comment with any other questions you have, and we'll get to it in a future video. And
Live breezy.